Hello, students and educators. We are so excited to have you join us for Career Exposure Week. My name is Chelsea Hunt. I am the Executive Director of Work-Based Learning and Industry Engagement at the State Department, and I will be your moderator for this session. We will hear from our guest speaker, Clifford, who goes by Cliff, Stewart, who is a Training Director at Western Oklahoma Electrical Joint Apprenticeship and Training Committee. And then we will have a Q&A session that I will help field any questions to Cliff. This session is being recorded and will be archived within the Oklahoma Career Exposure Week online module. Also, we will send out links to the recorded sessions to everyone who registered for this session. Please join me in welcoming Cliff Stewart, Training Director at Western Oklahoma Electrical Joint Apprenticeship and Training Committee.
Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is well. Our name is a little bit misleading. We're based in Oklahoma City, but our working jurisdiction is the western half of Oklahoma. If you cut the state in half and go west, that area up to the Panhandle is what we call our working jurisdiction. Our contractors could bid and work in any area on the western half of Oklahoma. We like to start out with this cover page, mainly because most of the lights you see there, we've installed over the years. So we've worked on the Devon Tower. We built the Chesapeake Arena. We've done most of the high rises downtown, along with the Cox Center. So I personally have done work on the ballpark. I like to say I've sat on top of every one of those light poles throughout my career. So, I started in the field. I started my apprenticeship in 1982 and have been training director since 2014. So it is why we do our presentation this way. It's trades versus college. We like to show college an alternative to college. You don't have to go to college to be successful, but there are alternatives out there that are available. Okay, another question we like to ask is, where will you be in 5 years? We are registered with the Department of Labor as a 5-year apprenticeship program. We have gone to day school, and we also go year round now. So we've been able to consolidate that into a little over 4 years, even though we're still considered a 5-year program. You will acquire 8,000 hours of actual on-the-job training. You'll be working for one of our signatory contractors. You'll have a minimum of 900 hours of classroom time. Now, once you complete our program and graduate, we have been registered with ACE, which is a education accreditation program that you will receive a minimum of 45 college credits in the event you did want to continue your education and gain a college degree. On the job training, this is some of the areas that we work. We pretty much cover everything. We want our graduates to be well-rounded. We want them to be able to handle anything they run into out in the field. Our contractors expect our graduates to be their future leaders. Most of them will promote from within the rank and file. So, most of their estimators, project managers, owners, most of them have gone through the apprenticeship and worked their way up into the offices and individual contractors. But we cover, as you see, residential, light commercial, large commercial. We do a lot of healthcare facilities. We do industrial. We've done substations, and we've done some wind farms, and we're also into the solar farms now. This is actually a picture of one of our motor control labs here at our training facility. You'll spend a lot of time in this motor control lab. Again, we want you to be well-rounded. We want you to be able to handle anything you run into in the field. And that's just some of the curriculum that you'll study throughout your apprenticeship. Here's our current pay scale. We start our apprentices out at 50% of current journeyman rate. Currently, our apprentices start out at $17.08 with a full benefit package. So in reality, their compensation's around $22 an hour versus what you see is that's just the base rate. That does not include your benefits. Our benefits include 12.5% of your gross pay goes to a 401k. That's extra paid for by the contractor. None of that comes out of your pocket, even though you can add to it if you wish. The younger you are, the more money you put into it, the more you'll have when you retire. So we always recommend adding to it, but at the minimum, you'll get 12.5%. Also, you get 3% of your gross pay going into annuity retirement plan based off of service years. So again, the younger you are when you start, the more service years you have when you retire, and the bigger that check will be. Currently, our contractors pay, once you get full benefit, up to $6 an hour towards your health and welfare. Again, none of this comes out of your pocket. It's all extra paid for by your contractor. After the first 1,000 hours, all it takes is satisfactory progress to move on to period 2. That will put you at $18.78 currently. Somewhere in that 6-month period, you will start our classes. Once you complete that first level of curriculum and obtain another 1,000 hours for a minimum of 2,000 hours, you move on to period 3. Period 3, of course, is 65%. As you complete each level of curriculum and get the appropriate amount of hours, you advance through our program all the way through to completion. To complete our program, you have to have 8,000 hours of actual on-the-job training. You have to complete it all 5 levels of curriculum with a passing grade of 75 or better. We expect you to do a lot better. And you also have to obtain your unlimited journeyman license from the state of Oklahoma. Then we graduate you to journeyman status. Most of our graduates, like I said earlier, are expected to be their future leaders. A lot of them almost immediately get the opportunity to run work, become foreman, general foreman. And of course, that will increase their pay rate as they advance in standing. Here's a little comparison of apprentice versus college. This is one of the state colleges. This is actually from 2018, so the pricing has gone up a little bit. But as you can see, currently most graduates graduate with some college debt, some student loan debt. As you go through our program, we are tuition free. The only thing you pay for up front are your books, and even there we have a book refund incentive program. If you keep a 90 GPA for the class cycle, you get half your money back. You keep a 95, you get all your money back. So you do have an opportunity to go through our complete program without costing you a penny. All you have to do is put in the work. It's not a cakewalk, but it is definitely something that is doable. Many of our students do get book fee refunds. And as you can see, instead of having student debt, you have earned a sizable income. You have money already established in a 401k. You have health insurance coverage for you and your family. That includes dental and eyeglasses. And you have a total earnings where you would have had student debt to begin with. And you still receive college credits at the end of it. Here's a little comparison. We took this dollar bill, kind of dissected it. No high school diploma, pretty basic. High school diploma, associate's degree, bachelor's degree, IBW electrician. That's actually a little bit higher now. That kind of falls into the same medium range as a master's degree. And then you can see the doctoral and the professionals make a little bit more, but our general foreman and our foreman fall into pretty much those categories as well. Normally I would ask questions after each section, but guess we'll take them all at the end, and that pretty much covers it. I'm probably a little bit fast, but I guess we can go to the questions now if there are any.
Okay, thank you, Cliff, for sharing about that. Yes, if you have some questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat or feel free to unmute yourself. Cliff, one question that I have is what inspired you to go into the construction industry?
Well, I was actually in retail management before I became an apprentice. I was the manager of a retail shoe store in Tulsa, by the way. And my brother-in-law was actually an instructor for the IBEW JATC at the time. He was telling me about it. I was working basically open to close and starving to death. And so he told me about this program. There are minimum qualifications for it. You have to have a high school diploma or a GED. You have to have at least 1 year of algebra with a passing grade and a valid driver's license. That's pretty basic. So I did apply. It took me a couple of years. It's very competitive. So I applied 2 years in a row and was accepted and worked my way through. I've worked for several contractors. I have been a foreman, general foreman, labor superintendent for several of our contractors. And I have traveled. That is another opportunity that you have. If you know of an area that you would like to travel to that has work, I've worked in Boston, I've worked in Indiana. Basically, this has given me the opportunity to go coast to coast and border to border. So I have seen a large part of the United States due to my affiliation with this program. You know, and reason I guess volunteered for the committee originally was it did give me a great opportunity, and I felt like I wanted to give something back to it. So I volunteered to sit on our JTC committee. I was on there 8 years when the position for training director became available, and I applied for it and was hired on as the training director.
I love hearing how you've advanced different levels in your career, and just to hear that about in construction, how you have those different levels and career pathways. Another question is, what is the average age of those entering the IBE training? And can you remind us what IBE stands for?
The IBEW is the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Union. We are part of basically, I say a three-legged stool. The IBEW, NECA, which is the National Electrical Contractors Association, and the JATC, which is the Joint Apprenticeship Training Committee. So we are sponsored by both parties. We're a separate entity. We basically rule ourselves, but we do depend on them to be our sponsors. We have training sponsors throughout the country. A lot of the large manufacturers, tool distributions. Klein is a training partner. Milwaukee is a training partner. Southwire. Some of these companies you may know, some of them you may not know, but we depend on them, and we all work together to put out the best student, the best graduate that we possibly can.
Very nice. And Cliff, I'm going to have a follow-up because you said mentioned about the brotherhood. Is this program, what does the diversity look like? Can females come and participate in this program? And how does that look for construction overall?
Absolutely. We actually would love to have more females enter our program. It's, you know, when I do career fairs, I try to talk to as many women as I can to let them know that this is something they can do. It is not exclusive just to men. We have very many successful females in our program and have gone through our program. They still go out, become project managers, foreman and general foreman. So it's not exclusive. I did fail to mention that our age groups are very diverse. We do get some students straight out of high school. We get some that have retired from the military or been in the military. I think our average age right now is about 29. but we have all different levels. We had one apprentice come in that applied and was accepted that by the time he completed our program, he'd have been eligible to retire, take early retirement if he wanted to. So no age group is excluded from our program.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. Another question is, and I don't know if you mentioned, if you did, forgive me, about the locations. Where exactly is this program located? And then also if students who are not in that area of where this program is, how can they get involved? Is there any offerings to help them get costs or transportation to get to your facilities? How does that work?
Well, once you get accepted, in reality, you are responsible for your own transportation. Of course, you would need your own transportation to get to most projects, job sites. We're actually located in Oklahoma City, right there at the I-40 235 junction, right off of 15th Street. But like I said, we cover half of the state. Any student we have one student right now that lives in Elk City. We have several students down in the Lawton area. So they work in their areas if their work is available. Otherwise, they have to basically drive wherever the work is. And some job sites have per diem that cover some of their costs. Some does not. It's all up to the particular contract and how much money a contractor will have in that particular project. But for the most part, you drive to your own job site once you get assigned to a particular contractor, and you work wherever the work is. I have worked in, even though I live in Oklahoma City, I've worked in Tishomingo, Durant. So, you just go where the work's at.
Nice. I'm learning so much, and I didn't know you all were located off of I-40, so that's good to know. Some more questions for you. Would you recommend taking electrical courses at a technology center while in high school?
Yes, absolutely. I actually sit on 3 different advisory boards for some of the local Metro Tech campuses. I try to recruit heavily from those programs because one, it gives us an idea that this is what that person wants to do, wants to be an electrician. So if they are taking it in high school, that does give them a little bit of a leg up as far as if they do get accepted into our program. They will see some of the same curriculum. They will see some of the same types of work, but they still have to go through the normal process, go through the interview process, and get accepted into our program. Like I said, it's highly competitive. We only take about 10% of the end of all the applications that we receive. So it's something that if they really want to do it, they may have to apply more than once, like I did.
Very nice to know. And Cliff, we have a follow-up question. So as you've been sharing about this program, are you mentioning that it is for students and employees and also is on-the-job training paid? Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, once they get accepted into the program, we will assign them to a contractor. They will work for that contractor full time, and then they will come to class one day every other week. Now, the class time is not paid for since they are coming to class for free. So they are not paid to come to class, but they will be working full time throughout the rest of their weeks.
Very good to know. We have more questions coming in. This is good. Another question, would this program be beneficial for a student that received their apprenticeship already through a local career tech or VOTech?
Absolutely. In honesty, they're just kind of scratching the surface on what they teach them at the career techs. Some of them go a little bit more in depth. Like I said, I sit on some of their advisory boards, but we will get them even deeper into the electrical trade. They will have more opportunity to see different types of work. Again, we want our graduates to be well-rounded electricians, so we will try to get them as many different type of work settings as possible. We do what we call a rotation. So once they work for a contractor for more than a year, we will rotate them to a different contractor in the event that that different contractor has different type of work that they do, and that gives them an opportunity to see different things in the field.
Nice. And Cliff, you mentioned earlier about some locations. And so a question about, does the Tulsa area have this program? And then also on the program, when is the deadline to apply?
Again, some of the programs, we do some things differently. Our program, we take applications year round. We will do what we call an aptitude test. If you qualify for the program, you have to score a 4 out of a 9 on it to move on to the interview. That aptitude test consists of mathematics and reading and comprehension. So 4 out of a 9 is really not that difficult to make. But then once you do that, you go to the interview. Something I always recommend to these Metro Techs, because they do teach soft skills for some of their students. Our board consists of 6 individuals, 3 representatives from the contractors and 3 representatives from the labor side. So when they do go to the interview, they walk into a room full of 6 semi-smiling faces. And that can be intimidating if you haven't done too many interviews.
Right.
It's not a one-on-one or even a 2-on-1. They're looking at 6 different people, asking them questions. So I always recommend when they do mock interviews to do multi-person interviews, and that way it gives them a little bit of idea of what they're going to run into.
Oh, that's such good advice, because we all know nerves can come and apply to any kind of interview or just talking, public speaking in general. So that was wonderful advice. A couple more questions for you, Cliff. One, are there companies who sponsor people for your school?
No, each it's part of their, I guess, IBW contract to contribute to the general fund of the JATC. So they are already contributing. They can, if they know someone, they can send in letters of recommendation once they get to the interview process. But the individual contractors typically don't sponsor anyone, mainly because they're sponsoring everyone already. And even if they know somebody and know them well and send them in, that doesn't necessarily mean that contractor is going to get that apprentice whenever he gets assigned out to a job site. So, we have 30 something local contractors, and we have out of state contractors coming in all the time that we supply the apprentices for, manpower for. So just because they know someone doesn't necessarily mean they're going to get assigned to that particular contractor.
It's good information to have. And then Cliff, you going back to follow up on the locations, you did mention that this program facility is based off of I-40. So does that mean that programs are available in Oklahoma? And then also, what kind of college credit is giving through this program?
Okay, we're located in the middle of Oklahoma City. Tulsa has a program. Ponca City has a program. Fort Smith actually has a few counties of Oklahoma that they oversee. Texarkana has a few counties down south that they kind of incorporated into their jurisdiction. The 3 counties of the Panhandle are actually overseen out of Amarillo. So there are options other than Oklahoma City. You can either look online. Everyone has a website that they can, someone can check into. And you had part of another question. What was that?
Good question. The second part was, what kind of college credit is given through this program?
Basically, it's like I said, it's the American college education credits. There's up to 45 credits available. Some colleges will accept some of them. We are currently in a beta program with Butler Community College out of Kansas, out of Wichita. The way this program is going to work is, again, our contractors are going to pay for the tuition into this college. So if this beta program does get launched, it will allow the apprentices to graduate with an associate's degree. that can be used to get some type of workforce leadership program. And then they can move on to Pitt State. We have an agreement with them to, if they want to continue on and get their bachelor's degree.
Very nice. Clifford, thank you for just sharing this information because it was very helpful to know about your program and just to have a better awareness how students who do have an interest in construction can get connected with your facilities and get that apprenticeship piece. That concludes our question. Well, I have one more question. I'm sorry. If they're interested in getting a college degree with their electrical license, what degrees would be good options? Business administration, etc.
Business, if they want to work their way up into project management, business is always good. Site safety, a safety program is always good because a lot of our contractors or general contractors are always looking for site safety people. So anything that they could do there would be beneficial to them. Something I would like to mention is, unfortunately, with COVID and everything, we're doing all of our applications online right now. So to apply, they would just go to our website, look under the Apprentice tab, scroll down and find the application and fill it out and submit it. And the same thing for, we have an alternative program called our Construction Wireman Program. They would just find that tab, scroll down, fill out the application and submit it to us.
Very nice. Again, Cliff, thank you for sharing your expertise on construction and this wonderful program. To all those who have joined us today, you will get the registration link, and we will also send a PDF copy of the presentation so you have access to share the slides with your students. We do hope that you'll join us tomorrow as we continue Oklahoma Career Exposure Week. We're going to learn about some starting off at 9 o'clock, some information technology careers, and then at 9:30, we'll learn about some energy careers, and then join us again at 10:30, and we'll hear more about some construction careers. So Cliff, again, thank you so much. For our students and educators, thank you for joining us, and we wish you a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you for having me. Goodbye,
Thank
everyone.
you.